Vietnam, you can get a banh mi, and it's
Don't.
it's herbs and it's some kind of beautiful savory sauce with
To this-
crunchy pork and
To
spices.
this day, the best fucking I can tell you where to get this sandwich. I'm going to tell you exactly where you can get this sandwich, because I took the thing I love about this phone is you can go into your map in your pictures, and I go to Vietnam. I had some really good. Vietnam changed my cultural DNA. All right. It was we were taking a boat in Ha Long Bay. I'm gonna tell you exactly where this fucking. Okay. I can tell you exactly where this. Let me see. Yup. I wonder if you know this area.
I know Ha Long Bay.
So this is Street Thang is where we got this sandwich. It's the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had. It's right across from the docks. Right there is where we took the boat.
Okay.
And the sandwich, I think I took a picture of the sandwich. Yeah. This is her making the fucking sandwich. I took a video. I don't know if it's going to come up. Yeah, sure. Why not? This is her making the fucking...
Right.
This is the best sandwich I've ever had. This is... And by the way, I was terrified because, as you know, this is... By the way, this is exactly on the corner of Street 1 Thang 4 and...
Good. Thang.
I
think it's Tang.
Tang.
But I would pronounce it that way.
Nui Jok. Nui Jok. That was the best street sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I was terrified because she makes it out of a hot dog cart, and her eggs are all just not in a refrigerator, they're sitting in a bowl. And then she makes. I want to say she cooks the eggs under, and then
in a tiny little skillet on a gas range.
And then she put some little pork shavings in it, and 2 fried eggs, and some sauce, and she cooked the fried eggs perfectly, so they were runny, but they were a little thick runny, like they were perfect. And so I got it, and I forced one of my cameramen to take a bite with me because I was like, we're definitely getting sick. And I took a bite, and I went back and I said, can I get 13 of those? And she was like, huh? I said, all the bread, all your bread, and I bought 13 of them. And she made 13, and I ran them out to the boat. We were getting on a boat to go into Ha Long Bay, and I gave them to everyone on my crew, and I said, I just want to see the look on your face when you taste the sandwich. And everyone was like, this is the greatest sandwich I've ever had. And then I found out pretty much any of those street vendors that made those sandwiches made them pretty fucking awesome. And we would go to bars, and I would see one, and I'd run down, and I'd buy 13 of them. I'd go, I want all your bread. Just start making them, and I'll come back. I'll take all of them. And I couldn't. I had a problem with those.
Yeah, and they cost $1.
They cost $1.
Maybe not even $1.
If I go back to Vietnam, I will try to find that lady. It was that good. I remember thinking, this is the best breakfast sandwich I've ever had in my entire fucking life. And the bread, and I don't know if it's because of the water, but the bread is so light.
Well, it's because they use rice flour. They're not using wheat flour.
Really?
Or they're using a mix. But the rice flour gives it a little bit different consistency. And of course, those personal baguettes were influenced from the French when they were in Vietnam. But the recipe itself is, it's kind of that mix of French influence, but using the ingredients they have in Vietnam.
So our best friends are Vietnamese. We have 3 families that we hang out with. We call ourselves campers. And my wife and I would say we're all close, but one of the families is Vietnamese from Vietnam. The mom is Chinese Vietnamese, if that makes sense. She was Chinese. Her family immigrated to Vietnam, but they're ethnically Chinese,
right?
And then they had to take a boat here from after the Vietnam War. And my buddy, I've had my buddy on the podcast. My buddy is Vietnamese. His mom is a very famous Vietnamese lady who wrote a book called When Heaven and Earth Change Places. Oliver Stone optioned the rights, and they made a movie out of it. And she has, if you see the movie or read the book, it's her experience during the Vietnam War was absolute. I mean, I remember one time trying to connect with her, and I was like if you think back to the Vietnam War, like, what was the worst part for you? And she goes, I have so many. She goes, how about my brother being thrown out of a helicopter above our village?
Yeah.
And I was like, that happened? And she was like, yeah, how about snakes? Yeah, I mean, me getting tied up and snakes being put down my dress. And I was like, Okay, never mind. Let's go back.
Well, so one thing about Vietnam is that sadly, that's all Americans have, because for every country, if you say a country, we have like maybe 2-3 ideas about that country based on popular culture. And for Vietnam, it's still Vietnam War. And you go to Vietnam and you talk to Vietnamese people and they couldn't give a fuck less. Yeah. They're like, move on, dude. And so like Americans want to go there and be like, oh, are they going to be mad because I'm American? It's like they moved on so quickly. And like they just have like such a healthy mentality there of like, let's focus on the future.
Yeah.
Like, that's in the past. We're not going to hold what happened. And terrible atrocities happened there. And they're not going to hold that against Americans going there now.
That what's great about what's tough. We were doing a trip flip, was one of my shows where I take two people on adventures of a lifetime, and Vietnam was a destination. And we were in Cleveland, and I tried to take cute couples to Vietnam. I'd be like, are you guys adventurous? Yeah. You guys do anything? You pick it up right now and you ready to go. And they're like, we'll go right now. I go, first class trip. We pay for everything. And they're like, we're in. We're like, all right, we're going to Vietnam. And I remember one dude going, we're going to Nam? And I was like, no, it's not. We're not going to Nam.
Right. Yeah. And so if my videos in Vietnam could do anything, I hope it's showing people just how hospitable and generous and kind people are there. And it's just such a nice vibe there.
It's amazing.
Beautiful geography and just some of the best food you've ever had in your life.
I have some criticisms on Vietnam. Number one is trash maintenance. Like,
okay.
They just burn it on the side of the road.
There's some work to be done.
I mean, the fact that when you cross traffic, you're just supposed to stay at that same pace or they will hit you with a car.
Oh, see, I like that part.
I like that.
I don't want to just have to wait at red lights. You just go. You just go when you're ready.
The whole point is don't speed up. They're anticipating your movement.
Yeah.
So you go at your pace. They'll go at their pace. You need to trust each other. It's such an interesting mix of culture where the strangers communicate through movement.
Oh, yeah.
Which would never happen in this country.
No, because here, you're both at a stop sign and you're like, no, you go. No, you go. Yeah. No, you go. And then you stay there 45 minutes later, like, are you sure? Okay, I'll go.
We rode motorcycles through Saigon. Where did the only reason I remember this, I remember we got our ears cleaned. Dude, that's the greatest thing I've ever done.
I have done that. I think it's fake.
What? No. Oh, pull up ear, but Burt Kreischer ear.
Wait, did they do the burnt ear candling?
No.
The candling.
Oh my God.
Fake.
Hold on. This is so my buddy who's Vietnamese is like, when you go, you got to get your ears cleaned. He goes, they cleaned my ears and they found a cockroach in my ear. And he goes, and they got it out and I didn't know it had been in there for a while. And he goes, I couldn't hear it. Burt Kreischer ear cleaning.
Do you think
Vietnam?
Maybe they put it in there, like when cops put a little cocaine baggie in your car.
It would be brilliant
like,
if they did.
Hey, look what we found. We're going to put it back in if you don't pay us $100.
Sir, there we go. Okay. So we rode motorcycles through. This is, by the way, the best hosting I've ever done, for the record. Okay. So this is right.
This particular episode?
Just a segment. This episode.
Okay.
Episode was good, but ultimately I think it's anyway.
Okay.
My hosting and travel channel was just not who I was. I was trying to be someone else and I didn't know how to do it. And I was just like, and every time I tried to be myself, they would just be like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Too much.
All right. Are you having slow internet, Halston?
Yeah. Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
We have faster internet in Vietnam than you have in LA.
Yeah. Halston, what's going on here?
Every podcast I listen to that's out of California, it's like, never mind.
Yeah.
Skype calls that just drop.
They go in and they cleaned out Tootsie Rolls out of this dude's ear.
Oof.
Tootsie Rolls. This is the greatest. This was right by the guy that ran for president, McCain, crashed in a lake.
Yeah.
And then they pulled him, they dragged him through the city during the war. That lake, we rode motorcycles around that lake.
Wow.
But riding motorcycles in Saigon was it's an experience in and of itself.
Yeah, I've done a few day trips on a motorbike
really
through the countryside. It's great. I mean, it's gorgeous. And you don't get the same feeling if you're just in a van or something looking out the window. Like you're surrounded by rice paddies. If you go to Haiyang, if you go way in the north, almost by the Chinese border, I mean, you are in some very remote villages where they still probably have faster internet than you have here. But
yeah.
but they are way out. Like they're doing everything by hand. They're sowing the rice fields by hand, and they have gorgeous wood houses that they built themselves. It's stunning.
So beautiful. One of the I just talked about it on. That's what they pulled out of his fucking ear. If you're not gonna get it up, don't worry about it.
What's remarkable, I just want to say this. What's really remarkable about those places, and this is something I try to capture too, is there's this idea sometimes a little too much in the U.S. that the U.S. is the best and our lifestyle is the best and it has to be modern and we have to have all this cool shit. But then you go to a place like that, and I'm talking about they built their own house, they're growing all their produce and everything by hand themselves. These people are happy, legitimately happy.
Yeah.
And they don't have a bunch of extra shit, but they have everything they need. And the only thing I could think, here and there, probably, medical could be better, but they're healthy. They have a community. They don't have like high suicide rates or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really much more how humanity is supposed to live.
I would totally agree. And I feel like there's something to be said for, we stayed at a farm stay and I don't know where. Okay, actually I can tell you. We stayed at a farm stay in let's see. It had to be, God, man, I didn't move around too much in Vietnam, did I? Oh, maybe I did.
That video looked like Hanoi. So you were mainly in the north, I'm guessing. Like Hanoi, then you took a day trip to Ha Long Bay.
No, we went everywhere. We took a fucking train somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went to Tan Ho. Is that it? Tan Ho? Is that where the farm stay is? I think so. We took a train down there. That was where the train went, and maybe we went further. Oh yeah. We went down to Dong Hoi. Is that something?
I don't know. Oh yeah, my wife knows.
I had a great experience with this older Vietnamese lady who saw me on a walk and just came over and wanted to hold my hand and walk with me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it was out of this world. But we stayed at a farm stay in Dong Hoi, and it was awesome. That's where I just talked about this on Rogan. I was on a motorcycle running through rice paddies. I was drunk, I was high, and I was fucking just, I was listening to The Doors, I think, and I was just like just in my element. And we weren't filming it. We were done filming, and I was doing this. And Rogan called, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I just was caught off guard. I was like, "Oh, I'm drunk. I'm high. I'm on a motorcycle running through rice paddies in Vietnam." And he was like, "Oh shit!" He was like, "Dude, you got to stop doing this fucking show and just start talking about that shit on stage." He was like, "You're so much better on stage." And but it was just so, I don't know. Everything. I have such an affinity for Vietnam because it really changed who I was. It allows you to gain a little, and I'm curious to know what you feel has changed about yourself traveling so much in Asia from the kid, like when you go back to the kid you were in Minnesota, what differences you see?
Well, I never could have done this show if I just went from Minnesota to Vietnam and just started shooting.
Right.
I had to, like, kind of all my experiences, even teaching English to a classroom, because you have to kind of direct a classroom, to video directing, all these weird parts, different parts of my life kind of culminated in what I'm doing now, including living in Korea. So I think just I had to live in another culture for so long to finally understand how other cultures are different and to not approach it from like a cynical American point of view where it would just be kind of mocking them.
Yeah.
And so now I feel
which is very easy.
Yes.
It's a very easy angle to mock something.
And now I feel like I found a nice line where I've been in Asia so long that I know what stuff, I don't know how to describe this. The way I treat people when I'm with people is like they're a buddy. I don't treat them with this kind of reverence, like, oh my gosh, you're like so much better than me. I kind of like, I feel like I should treat them like a peer. And sometimes I get a little too comfortable, and sometimes people take that the wrong way and they think maybe I'm being rude or something. But I've never had the people I'm actually with interpret it that way or get offended.
Yeah.
It's just, people, you hang out with someone for a whole day that gets chopped into a 5-minute video and people don't see the full context that you got there early. You said, thank you. You did all this stuff. They just see like these quick interactions in a video. So there's that. But I think I had to be in Asia for a long time to know when to say something is unusual or how to say it's unusual, but not just be like, this is disgusting. I can kind of explain how something is different without just being like completely judgmental about it.
It's interesting. I think I know that I've traveled a bunch, but I've lived abroad now. I was just there for 3 months, and there's a humility to not knowing the language, not being familiar with the currency, not being like just getting your. I tried to get avocado